The Ric Flair firing by WCW on July 1st actually made national news, with papers throughout the country picking up the story, with all coverage being sympathetic to Flair. Some local North Carolina reporters are even calling for a fan boycott of WCW events. Wow.
Well, I mean, I remember, dude, back then, Ric Flair was like God in pro wrestling.
Especially in the Carolinas.
Yeah, right.
Ric Flair had put up a $25,000 deposit for the big gold belt, which was standard at the time. Wow. That's like some people's yearly salary.
What's crazy is, and this is not a knock, I like the title, but it's like, that title was never that special, I thought, to require that big of a deposit. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but really?
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say there's no way in hell that thing cost $25,000. Not even a
That would be my
chance.
point, yeah. Unless it was made of actual gold.
Yeah, which I doubt it. But anyway, well, we can ask Conrad Thompson.
Yeah, we're not jewelers, so, but.
Yeah, right. But anyway, right. But anyway, I guess he demanded it back.
Plus interest.
To get the deposit back.
That's a huge thing. He always says he wanted that and interest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. But yeah, I guess he demanded to get the deposit back upon dropping the title, which, that's how deposits work. You don't have it anymore. Yeah. It's like, for people that don't know, when you put a deposit down after that time is expired or whatever, you don't have that thing anymore, you get the deposit back. So.
Legend has it Jim Herd tried to offer him Pizza Hut coupons instead.
Oh, good Lord.
I can't confirm that. Sure not going to deny it, though.
Well, Jim Herd refused, allegedly telling Flair, "Fuck you and that belt." Which is, the most professional thing you could possibly say to one of your employees.
Yeah. There's a reason he's liked by nobody. Honestly, real quick, have you ever heard anybody say one good thing about that man?
Jim Ross tries to be nice to him, about him. So that's.
Well, he's a Southern boy with manners, so to be fair.
Yeah. But just like, really? The guy's like, hey, that money I gave you that you're supposed to return to me when I, don't have this title anymore, I want it back. No, F you. How dare you? Like, what?
Wow. Let's not gloss over Ric Flair, Barry Horowitz himself, because he said he never got the money back early because he felt he was going to have multiple runs. Which, okay, it's not a far-fetched thing to think, but I thought that was funny.
Well, I'm sure he found out in short order. It's like, well, I was integral to the selling or the purchase of WCW by Turner, because Turner came right out and said, well, if no Ric Flair, I don't want the company. So after that, he was probably like, well, I'm going to be the guy around here. And then they hired Jim Herd, and Jim's like, nah, F you.
Why wouldn't you? Okay, first of all, he didn't and I'm not like an expert on this, but I heard he knew nothing about wrestling ever. So
yeah, you don't say.
Why wouldn't you ask somebody, hey, who's this Ric Flair guy? Do I want him on my staff? Do I want him to be the guy?
Well, plus, he works for Turner. Turner liked Flair. Where was the disconnect?
Well, according to Bischoff, Turner loved Flair.
Yeah, so where was the disconnect here? Like, what was going on where Ted, I know Ted didn't stick his nose in a lot, but did he not pay attention? Like, did Rick not? If I was Rick, I would have went straight to Ted and was like, hey, this guy's an effing moron. He's trying to bury me. Can, you do something about it? Because otherwise I'm leaving. Which, he did. But speaking of that title, the NWA announced that they were still recognizing Flair as the World Heavyweight Champion, even though they don't promote wrestling shows anymore. The legal team for the NWA noted that WCW can recognize whoever they want as champion, but they have no right to strip Flair of the NWA title. So, this means that Flair can legally work Japan and indie shows as the NWA champion, and since the belt is the NWA's belt, he no longer has...
Championship, sorry.
Wow. He no longer has to return it to WCW. Further, since the NWA laws say that members can't recognize anyone but the NWA champion as world champion, this means that WCW will be expelled once they crown a new WCW world champion at the Bash.
Wow.
So, lots to unpack there.
So what was the big deal about appearing on WWTV then, if they're going to expel him from it?
Yeah, well, I assume, because I always thought it was WCW that sent a cease and desist. Was it NWA that sent a cease and desist?
I've never heard a clear word on that, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume.
All I know is I've always heard cease and desist. I've never heard who. So
right, because didn't he like his last appearance as the quote unquote real world champion? Didn't he have like an old tag belt?
Yeah, it was at the Survivor Series, I want to say.
Yeah, that was freaking weird.
Like when we hear the stories of it, people don't realize that didn't go on too long. We're talking maybe a month.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like history makes it out to be like, oh, we had that title on TV for like a year. It was like a month at most.
Well, what was funny is Uncle Dave pointed out, when WWE sued WCW over the Nash and Hall thing in '96, he was like, the legal arguments they're using right now are the reverse of the legal arguments they used as to why they should be allowed to have Flair running around as the NWA champion. It's like, yeah, it's kind of funny. But, yeah, so he was still technically the NWA champion until he popped up in WWE, apparently, and NWA is like,
wild to
whoa.
think that he was the NWA champion on WWE TV.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's... I don't know how we look at it. It's just like crazy though.
And then he didn't disrespect that title at all. He actually, if anything, he like built it up more.
I'm completely of the mind he knew he was going back at some point.
Oh yeah, probably. I think he was waiting for her to be gone. But
I think he knew that was going to happen quickly.
Right. Yeah, and that title didn't get trashed until Shane Douglas in ECW. Who, by the way, blames Ric Flair for everything wrong that ever happened in his career.
Yep.
Irony. But carrying on with this, on July 8th, WCW offered Ric Flair a one-year deal for $750,000, largely because the TBS legal department stepped in when it was realized that Flair was fired without any just cause. Go figure.
Talking about he didn't want to shave his head and call himself Spartacus. That's a good cause.
Yeah, well, not to mention that Flair was working with a valid contract that the company was attempting to replace with one for half as much money. However, since there was no guarantee given on how he'd be used, Flair turned it down. Wow. So, first, Hurd steps in and was like, hey, that contract that we had you sign and we said we'd honor? Yeah, well, we're not going to honor it. And then he turns around and says, no, you know what? Never mind, you're fired. Why am I fired? Because I said so. Get out.
Fire me. I'm already fired.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. And then Turner Legal had to step in and was like, oh, man, here's another contract. We're sorry. We're sorry.
Here's a few extra bucks.
If anybody goes back to that, I'm thinking of that South Park episode after that big oil spill on the Exxon CEO's like, we're sorry. And he keeps popping up in different areas like, we're sorry. Like, what the hell?
Well, that makes it all better.
Yeah, right. And Flair's like, nope. And to wrap this one up, apparently fans aren't taking this Flair news very well, loudly chanting, we want Flair at live events, and something that might get embarrassing for them. Yeah, this became a thing in WCW for quite a while.
Yeah, and everyone thinks the CM Punk chants are original. Just please.
Yeah, right. I will say this, I think they sustained that crap for longer, but, can you imagine if Twitter was a thing in 91? Oh, gosh.
I've thought about that for many, many time periods in wrestling, dude.
I know. This
one,
horrible.
The way Hogan lost the title to Andre, people would have rioted about that.
Yeah, right. Well, can you imagine if, like, during the twin referee angle, like what you were just talking about, where, they're like, well, actually, he has a twin brother that nobody ever mentioned. He used to work for WCW. Like, shut up, nerd.
What the hell?
Hold on, I'm thinking about the guy in his mom's basement, worst angle ever. They already did it in Mexico, and it was better.
What the hell?
You can't tell me that wouldn't be a thing.
I'm not saying that. I'm just, wow.
I'm spot on with it.